I'm going on. Tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, 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 oblivion. Oh, going into oblivion. I'm going on. You can't fall asleep when you're counting stars. Get it together. Your mind can't sleep when you let it serve. And now you wanna see me fall. From a quarter mile, I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, 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 oblivion. Oh, going on. Into oblivion. Into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, 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 oblivion. I'm going on.
Hello and welcome to UCM Esports. Tonight we have a good one for you guys. We have UCM going up against Spell Thief College, Josh. But let's talk a little bit about their match against Ole Miss. How did it go?
So last week, Ole Miss, UCM was able to win 2 rounds. They do a best 2 out of 3. They didn't have to go to the third match. UCM absolutely displayed their dominance against Ole Miss last week. The first game, we had the Heckrum pick jungle, which in previous matches, Heckrum was the deciding factor, and it was definitely the deciding factor on that one. And then once Heckrum got picked, I know we had the Dr. Mundo come back out, and that was a for sure win from UCM on the first week, and it happened to go again this week. We saw Flygills in mid lane do extremely well with the Ari pick during the second match.
Yeah, Lux.
Lux, sorry, not Ari. Ari was who he was facing.
Yeah.
You're completely right. It was Lux because Lux was shooting ults off screen all the time, getting a lot of kills. So yeah, UCM completely dominated Ole Miss last week. Spell Thief, though, haven't won a single match yet. UCM has won all their matches. UCM better not let down their guard, though. They want to keep that streak going, Trey.
Yeah, UCM has been very dominant. So they defeated the very first team. I can't quite remember who we went up against there, but that one did go to 3, but UCM did come out on top. Versus Ole Miss, it was a 2-0 sweep. I mean, if you can have a sweep in a 3-game series. And we did see the Hecarim and the Mundo do extremely well. So if Spell Thief has been doing their homework, I would assume that they would throw some bans towards UCM's jungle, because the jungle has been a very vital part of UCM's game plan there. I have seen that they have been throwing bans towards top with like Malachi and things like that, but I don't necessarily think
Kept seeing a Vigar ban too.
Vagar. Like I don't necessarily think you should ever ban Malachi, because I mean, he can make an impact, but he's never going to just outright carry a game.
No, it's a weird champ. I mean, like, even whenever the new meta of items, and he was like going Imperial Mandate support, and he was kind of just burning people in bot lane, even then it's still not, it's kind of like a troll pick ban to do.
It is a troll pick ban to do, but in the meantime, we are going to get to the lineup here. Let's bring that on up for the people to see. So, in the top lane, we do have 8-bit Hypocrite there, so he is the Malachi player, Renekton, things like that. Then we have IP Slow coming from the jungle, the Hecarim and the Mundo carry. And then we have Flygills in the mid lane. We have VTech at ADC, and then we have Fernlander at support. So those are your 5 players. We all know them, we all love them. They are 2-0 at the moment, so they're hoping to continue putting in that work.
Trey, before we go on to the banning pick phase, I will say that UCM, next semester is coming up. The new season will be coming up soon, and we got sign-ups going on until April 30th at midnight. If you want to make your mark on the team, you want to be in the starting lineup, go ahead and sign up for that before April 30th. We got games like Super Smash Bros., Rocket League, League of Legends, Overwatch, Rainbow Six Siege, and NBA 2K. And if you're feeling really spicy, Trey, you can maybe even see if you can add a new game on.
Yeah, we do have quite the lineup there, but a new game could be just up your alley. So before we get into this pick and ban phase, we are going to take a short break. Stick around.
Thank you for joining us today. My name is Mason, and I'll be going over the basics of the game before we begin. League of Legends is a MOBA, a multiplayer online battle arena. The game consists of 2 teams of 5 players, who will choose their champions to play as, each with their own special set of abilities. Each player has a specific role to fill in a certain area of the map, called lanes. Top lane usually consists of tanks and bruisers, characters that can take a lot of hits. Mid lane is usually for mages and assassins, who deal a lot of damage in a small amount of time. Bot lane has 2 players in it for each team, the AD carry and support. The ADC is someone that does a lot of damage from a long distance, and the support stays with them in order to keep them protected. Finally, the jungler has no set lane. They roam around in between the lanes in an area known as the jungle, killing monsters and jumping in to attack whatever lane needs help, an action known as ganking. The objective of the game is to push each lane forward, killing minions and destroying turrets that protect the enemy. Killing other players rewards gold, which can buy items and make your characters more powerful. The game ends when one team pushes all the way into the opponent's base, destroying this structure, called the Nexus, and winning the game.
And we are back. We're going to go hot and heavy directly into this pick and ban phase here. As you can see, UCM has banned Victor and Fizz already. Spell Thief is yet to have their second one. There it is with the Ezreal and the Nocturne bans, Josh.
Victor is a potentially very strong mid laner. He has his own separate little item build that helps enhance his powers. So he can be a danger. Fizz, he has to get strong early on. And if he does that, he basically becomes unstoppable against especially the ADCs and a lot of squishies. Spell Thief going in for the Nocturne Ezreal pick, though. Ezreal, is he as strong in this patch right now?
No.
That's what I was imagining. He kind of dropped down since the last patch, and then Nocturne, I'd say that's a very decent pick jungler, but just because his ultimate, is like semi-global. Gragas, though, wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, Gragas has been played a lot top tank and even in some support. Earlier on in the meta, though, he was a bit better, but he ended up getting some nerfs there. I have not seen 8-Bit play him personally, so I'm not quite sure about that ban there, but it does come out. But we do see the Hecarim, of course, there on the side of UCM. They have picked it in every series that they've played so far, so that's to be expected. And then we do see a very powerful bot lane combo there with the Thresh Jinx, specifically with the Thresh hook into the Jinx Chompers. That is a lot of CC that comes out, a lot of damage, and if you get caught by that, generally you're going to die.
And I believe we actually saw it in the first game that UCM played against, because I believe like every time Thresh got those hooks off, Jinx was just there ensnaring them into the traps, and it was such a big pain to deal with.
And that will be a Pantheon and Jhin, and I'm pretty sure that Pantheon is going to be going support, although he can go top or mid if you really wanted to. But generally this season he has been a support, and he's very, very strong. He ended up getting nerfed early on because of his ability to basically dive towers, one, block tower shots, two, CC, and deal massive damage to whoever he stunned there. So that Pantheon Jhin is very strong with a lot of CC.
Even before that, people called me crazy when I started playing Pantheon support. They're like, what are you doing? It's a troll pick. Well, guess what? He's meta now, and Jhin Pantheon is a very strong kill lane right now. Jinx and Thresh have, a lot of CC and can do that sustained damage, but once Pantheon hits you with the W, especially if it has the willpower charge on it to get force basic attacks off in like half a second, that's just going to be so much damage coming in. Spell Thief, though, will be picking Lilia for their jungle to match the Hecarim speed, I'm assuming.
Very meta pick. Both of these champs are actually at the top of the jungle meta at the moment, so those are to be expected. And then the Lux ban, so I'm happy to see Flygill's actually getting some bans there. He did go extremely ham on that Lux last match, so that is interesting to see. And then we do have a Malzahar ban out from UCM and the Galio ban out from Spell Thief.
And now I'm assuming the Malzahar ban is most likely a targeted pick. You don't really see Malzahar played too often in competitive, and I wouldn't say he's particularly strong in any sense, so I would assume that they probably saw somebody on Spell Thief have just like an insane amount of points into the Malzahar. So
if he ever is picked, is for his ultimate. I can see it. I mean, Malzahar does
worth a ban though?
Maybe not worth the ban, but Malzahar does counter the Hecarim with his ultimate. As soon as Hecarim goes in with his ultimate, Malzahar just presses R, and Hecarim has to stand there in the middle of Malzahar's pool that goes under his ultimate and taking damage from everybody else. But we do see the Maokai pick coming out from UCM, so that there is going to be going to 8-Bit Hypocrite, and Lissandra is looking to be the next pick there for Flygills.
And the Maokai will be matching the Malphite top lane, so we are literally going to have a tanky versus Healy slapfest in the top lane.
Rock.
Yes. Lissandra going in for the Flygills. We did see that in the game before Lux last week, I believe. And I had no complaints on Lissandra. So running back, the same team comp for UCM on the Hecarim, Maokai, Lissandra. Jhin and Pantheon, though, are like our wild cards right now.
Getting spicy there with Spell Thief. They go ahead and take the Vladimir. He is a late game menace. Him along with Jinx there, they do have very, very nice late game. So, Vladimir looks to be going mid here, so it's going to be versus Lissandra. And we'll see how that goes. So, Josh, looking at these two comps, just really quickly here, which one do you think has the better composition?
I would say late game, probably Spell Thief. They have the Vladimir is just an extremely strong person late game. Lilia can get really annoying to catch up to. Malphite, his ultimate's just really nice in general to have on a team. And then Jinx can, potentially carry whenever she goes sicko mode on people. But on the side of UCM, I really do enjoy their bot lane pick. I'm a Jhin player for my ADC, and I'm a support Pantheon player. Now, he's not my main, but I play him a lot, and I know how dangerous that combo can be bot lane. So if they can get that early kills, I think UCM could easily win this.
Yeah, both of these team comps do have a lot of CC, so basically it's going to be who can get the CC onto the enemy carries the quickest, because in this meta, CC burst and you're pretty much dead. So it's basically that's what it is, and I mean, both of these teams do have the ability to get those picks. Like you have the Maokai, the Thresh, things like that to take those picks.
Going back on that though, if UCM does want to win this, they have to end this before the 30-minute mark. Pantheon scales extremely bad late game. Like once 20 minutes hit, you've hit your limit on Pantheon. It's probably going to get worse from there on. Hecarim, very good early game. And then he starts going off a little bit mid-game. He just kind of evens out late game, I think Spell Thief has the better late-game comp, so UCM has to end this fast.
I agree with you there. I'm looking here. Lissandra falls off. Basically, late game, all she is an ult bot. Hecarim falls off, definitely. Maokai kind of stays even killed throughout the entire game. He's not going to carry anything.
He's going to be matching the Malphite.
Yeah, Jhin can fall off if he doesn't get the adequate gold and kills during the match. And on top of that, he's going up against a Malphite. Malphite is the bane of any ADC. Malphite's ultimate just absolutely crushes ADCs there. So I'm looking here, and it's really looking like Jhin is going to be the win condition for UCM. And
I think that's why they picked the Pantheon support, because Pantheon gets you those early kills. And if you don't get them, good luck to you then.
I'm not quite sure how well it's going to work out with that Malphite there. Malphite just absolutely destroys ADC. So I honestly am kind of scared for UCM here, because your one win condition is countered by that Malphite.
Yes.
So with that being said, hopefully UCM can make this work, make this composition work, and we'll see how it goes.
Yep. You'll just have to stick around. We do have a 3.5-minute delay, I believe. That's just because we can't spectate the game that's going on. We can't, it's to prevent, us giving information to our team. It's League of Legends built-in system. So stick around. We'll be back in just a few short minutes.
Culver's is a proud sponsor of UCM Esports. Welcome to Delicious.
Imagine opportunity. Got it? Good. Now pursue it. Choose the right college to cultivate it. Discover your passion, your talent. Now share it. Embrace it. Go global. Find support, network, build your team. Set a goal, work hard, achieve it. Be proud of yourself. Celebrate it. Discover UCM. Discover opportunity in action.
What is your favorite smell in the whole world?
Favorite smell? Oh man. Probably just any type of food. Just any food.
Okay, alright. If you could shop for free at one store, which would you choose?
Okay, GameStop.
Not Best Buy, right?
Nah, probably not. Nah.
Okay. Buff, nerf, remove. Champions in League of Legends.
Oh man. Okay. I want to see a buff for Corky, which he kind of got recently. Nerf Set. I realize he probably, I just don't like fighting him. Remove Aphelios. Get him out of the video game. Just make him go away.
So the two most recent champs, you want nerfed and removed.
Yes. Yes, I do.
I have to say something about League of Legends there. All right.
going on. When the lights go down, I've seen hell in you, but you don't care, no, you don't care, no. You just rather watch me fall from a quarter mile. I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it all. You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, oblivion. Oh, going fall into oblivion. Into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, I'm going on.
Hello, and we are on the Summoner's Rift. As you can see here, UCM is headed towards this top jungle area here. They might be trying something sneaky, but even so, they may not catch anybody, as Lilia is the only one even in that vicinity. Well,
Yeah.
Malphite, or
And it looks like Lilia is already backing up, so if they do spot anybody, it's going to be the Malphite. I think the last time they actually did run Jhin Pantheon, this is exactly what they did. Just because if Pantheon lands that W, then you're either getting a flash or a kill.
They might catch him. They might catch him. They are, at the minimum, going to be able to burn his flash.
Pantheon's not
They're
up
going to
front,
burn
though.
his flash. Either kill or flash here. He is rooted there. He's going to go down. The Malphite is going to be tilting his team, most likely.
You know, we didn't see the flash from Malphite. You could have saved him, probably. I think he actually could have survived if he would have reacted a little bit faster, because Pantheon was not at the forefront. Hecarim was. Pantheon wasn't far behind, but Hecarim doesn't have the CC. It was Pantheon.
Also, it's unfortunate because they have a ward there right in front of the red, which if they would have just set it in the brush, they would have saw UCM coming in and would have been able to react to that. So terrible ward placement there by Spell Thief, and they do pay with first blood there. So that does go to the Pantheon, though. I mean, not quite who you wanted on, but not bad to have it on the Pantheon, as he is going to be doing a lot of damage also.
I mean, to be fair, he is very strong early game, so maybe getting that early gold will help him lead Jhin to getting more gold and more kills in his lane. So I wouldn't say necessarily the wrong choice, but I get what you mean.
As these two are battling up there, 8-bit at about 50% HP, so he is on the losing end of that so far. But down bottom, they should be hitting too, and this could be Fernlander going in. There you do see the CC coming out from this duo. The Ignite does come in. I do not think that's going to kill Thresh, as he does have a potion ticking away also. So that is the Ignite going off from Pantheon.
And that is what you do when you do Jhin Pantheon. Once level 2 is hit, you go in for that straight engage. Usually, though, whenever, especially if you have Mortal Will popped up, you go in for the W first. Get the 4 auto attacks off, and then go in for a Q. However, Fernlander went in for the Mortal Will Q to do a little bit extra damage with that, and then go in for the stun. I think it would have been better if he would have went for the stun first, because the extra execution damage that Pantheon has on his Q wouldn't have been procced up yet, but nonetheless, Thresh not only had to use his flash, but he's kind of out of that lane right now.
He is back though, and Lilia is at her gromp. UCM has not warded River there, so if they really wanted to, Thresh could bring in the Lilia from either the tri-bush above them or the river for this gank if they really wanted. But Hecarim and Lilia are meeting there at the scuttle. Hecarim looks like he wants to go in on the Lilia, does knock her out of her Eep, I believe is the name of that move, and there's IP slow on the kill on Big Yuna, excuse me, and this should be a scuttle going to him, and he may even be able to get the top scuttle.
That was really nice gameplay coming in from IP Slow. He didn't even have to use Ghost to get into that jungle. He was just moving that fast based off of his abilities. And whenever Lilia went into Flash to try and escape and maybe get to Thresh's hook, Fernlander already knew about the situation, was already prepared, and immediately flashed over that wall to land the stun, securing the kill for UCM.
Maokai's doing a lot of damage here, and this may be a dead Malphite. The sapling comes in and finishes off the Malphite there. See, that is why you need a friend, Josh.
That is definitely why you need a friend. If for any reason 8-Bit Hypocrite would have died in that fight.
Oh no, hold that thought, as Vladimir does come in running fast as heck there to the Maokai, but he is not able to finish off that kill. So awesome there for the Maokai not dying.
I was going to say, if 8-Bit Hypocrite would have died to that Malphite in that little engage that they had, it would have been a traded kill either way because the Seedling was coming in as the backup, as you just said. It looks like Spellthief actually had their little buddy of their own as Vladimir came down to top lane, but now Vladimir's down mid, and Flygillis has to escape with little mana.
Yeah, he's going to have to run from that as he doesn't have mana. Vladimir, on the other hand, is a manaless champ, so he never runs out. On top of that, he does have his Q for the sustain. But one thing I want to talk about, Josh, is Lilia is actually kind of hard to cast because she has a move called the Watch Out Eep. And it's like, how do you cast a move called Watch Out Eep? It's such an interesting move, or interesting name choice there from Riot, as UCM is on this Ocean Drake here, and it looks like Thief might want to contest this as they do snare the Thresh. Thresh looking to make a hook, does not hit that hook, and this should be the Ocean Drake going over to UCM.
I think what they were trying to do with the Thresh and Jinx was just trying to persuade them to maybe get off because Lilia was taking top scuttle. And I know there was a blue ward in the top jungle. I don't know if it exactly called out Lilia at that point, but it was very clear that UCM wasn't going to be backing away from that Drake fight.
So here at 5 minutes and 50 seconds, UCM is up by more than 1K. So they are on a roll here. They do have 3 kills also. They're doing extremely well. So UCM is in a position to go ahead and take this as Lilia does back inside of the enemy jungle. That is very dangerous, but she does make it away.
And not only that, with that gold lead, UCM is either tying or beating Spellthief in CS right now as well too. So right now Spellthief is a little bit in an early game bind.
As we do see Lilia making her way down towards her Gromp and her Wolves there. The game, as you do see Hecarim coming up top here, and this should be a dead Malphite. I'm not sure if he has his flash. Hecarim does go in on the Malphite. They're not going to be able to finish this off. He's too tanky, and he popped a potion there. So good thing for Malphite there. He's able to get away from that game.
Very shame 8-Bit Hypocrite actually hit level 6 at the very end of that fight. If he would have had it just a little bit sooner, or whenever Malphite hit his level 6, that fight probably would have went in the favor of UCM.
As you do see another skirmish here up top, and one thing I want to point out is that it looks like in Champs, like the support in the top laner for Spellthief switched instead of just picking their own champ. So as you do see, the Malphite is at the very bottom of the scoreboard where the support should be, and Thresh is at the top where the top should be. So that kind of threw me off there for a second, but nonetheless, we are here and we are on Summoner's Rift as the bottom lane is just kind of stagnant at this point. Not much action has happened outside of Pantheon getting that first blood very early on.
Pantheon will be hitting level 6 soon, and his ultimate, just like the Nocturne, is like semi-global as well. So we might see a cheeky little play coming in from Fernlander later in the game.
As Hecarim is making his way towards maybe wanting to take this rift, but if he walks in here, he's going to be in a very bad spot. 3 members of Spellthief are there. Vladimir does see the Hecarim, and Hecarim decides to book it out of there. Lissandra chilling in mid should be able to at least get a bit of damage onto this Vladimir, as Vladimir does quite a bit of damage there and heals back what he lost to the Lissandra.
Flygos has to be a little bit careful right now. Lilia is in the top jungle, and there's a control ward in her top river bush. So if she keeps on pushing up like this, it might spark a death for Flygills.
Flygills needs to push here, if I do say so myself, because his team is on the Rift. He needs to push that out and then go help his team with the Rift. Lilia may make her way there, but as of right now, Spell Thief has no idea that UCM is on this Rift, and this is looking to be a free Rift. So Spell Thief needs to shore up that vision control.
Yeah, and I mean, we're not even seeing any pings from Spell Thief, like, as a potential, where's the Maokai at, you know? It's just, they're taking it right now. Flygills does go in to get a cheeky damage onto this.
He does not have the mana.
Vladimir, and just like that, with Ignite, will be bursting down with the Ice Shards. First kill for Lissandra will be going in.
I felt like he was pulling mana from like the Abyss there. He ulted and then still had enough mana for his Q, and Lissandra does have very high mana cost. And the thing is, he uses Q, and with Lissandra, once the Q hits a target, hold that thought as Malphite does decide to go in with the ultimate onto 8-Bit. 8-Bit trying to do what he can. Minions helping him out, is able to knock him back, but that's the flash slam from the Malphite, and down goes 8-Bit Hypocrite. First blood per se for Spell Thief, as Hecarim is going to go in on his Thresh. Oh my goodness, fears him back into his team, and Fernlander goes over the wall with them, able to finish off that kill.
That was really nice from IP Slim and Frontlander. Once again, great teamwork coming in from the jungler and the support. No plays wasted right there, as another fight comes in from Frontlander.
Here comes the Lilia, able to go ahead and put people to sleep there. IP Slow has to book it out. He may go down. Lilia decides to flash in, uses her Q, but she goes down to VTech, and this should be a dead Flygills as VTech puts an absolute big-time shot in on the Jinx for a double kill. Wookiee Monster there did slay Flygills and is deciding just to chill there, waiting for his Thresh.
I thought once, Frenzy, the Thresh, went down, I thought, that was kind of the end of that fight. I was not expecting more 3v3 shenanigans going on. We did happen to see Jinx and Lissandra, end up dying. I know Flygills, I believe he died trying to sacrifice himself to get IP Slow out of there because he jumped in there, was able to stun the Jinx, and I think he was also trying to stun the Lilia as well, but just couldn't reach her.
Real teammates die for their comrades. I have that issue where I go in when I really shouldn't, just to be like, yo, I didn't leave you to die, so don't tilt. As you do see UCM working towards this second Drake, and it is an air Drake, so that means that the soul will either be Earth or the Infernal Drake, as we do have another fight here. Hecarim does get slowed. He is taking damage from the dragon also and has to go down, as you do see Pantheon still on these two. Just misses the Thresh there. VTech with that Jhin ultimate, and Fernlander may be able to at least get this kill on the Jinx, but no, the flash comes in, and we have more action up top here as the Rock is absolutely smacking on the tree. 8-Bit Hypocrite doing what he can, trying to get away, but gets ulted by the Malphite, and here comes the Lilia. She does miss her E. Malphite is able to snare up that Lilia, and that ultimate just may have saved him.
8-Bit Hypocrite did wonderful, gain away from that situation. Going back to that earlier fight in bot lane, though, if VTech would have hit his final shot, that would have done so much massive damage to that Jinx, would have allowed at least that kill to be going out and not allowing her to get away scot-free. Pantheon was unfortunately too deep in, and we also had a teleport coming in from the from the Malphite, actually. And so, once you get that deep into the jungle and a teleport comes in, you just have to commit to it. And Pantheon can honestly do it. He has the damage to do it. It's just that a missed shot from Jhin wasn't enough damage to do anything for her.
You do see the Pantheon ult coming up, and this is going to be Malphite going down. He was way too far pushed up with way too little HP, and I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't go ahead and let Pantheon have that kill. Maokai can still be effective without kills. He's still going to have the CC. He's still going to wreak havoc and do things like that. Pantheon falls off, so the more kills that he gets early, the better.
I know, but I mean, like, you could say the exact same opposite. Is like, does Pantheon need the kill? Because he's already doing enough as a support. I'd rather get the Maokai, tankier, stronger for these top lane engages. Because right now, facing this Malphite, it's been very close battles, and 8-Bit Hypocrite seems to have been surviving purely on skill,
Grit.
Grit alone.
as Lilia decides to get a little bit of damage off onto Flygales. And it looks like Maokai is at least going to be able to get this fourth plate. That's what they're called, there, as Malphite goes in again on 8-Bit Hypocrite, and he is under the tower. He just may go down. Malphite is definitely going to get this Q off and is going to be sped up. Can he do it? No, I don't think he can. He did not continue to chase that, and Thresh is here just chilling, clearing out a red ward.
Just chilling. We do have our supports going in the mid lane for maybe a potential battle.
As Thresh does throw that lantern, and that did deter both Lissandra and Pantheon from wanting to pursue that kill there. So a good thing on that Thresh there, helping out his teammate as he is still chilling in that bush, and they do have a red there as VTech is getting off some good poke damage onto Jinx at bottom, and there's the Hecarim ult, but Malphite is able to dodge that magnificent dodge there, but the damage just may come out. Maokai decides to throw his ult, and just the tip is able to get the Malphite, and Malphite is surely going to go down here. Maybe not. Lissandra is coming in. There is the snare. There is the Q. Big time Lilia ult there, able to knock out 3 with the sleep. Fernlander goes over the wall with the bramble bush, and maybe he is not where he wants to be. They are not stuck in here with him. He is stuck in there with them, and Fernlander doing what he can, but this is just, oh man, that is brutal. Nothing he can do there, nowhere to run, and he does go down.
Well, actually, Fernlander actually did have his flash up. And that's why he was chilling. I thought he was chilling in the pit, ready for the flash maneuver. And whenever Jin ulted, kind of trying to bait them in there to see if they could potentially get the kill onto the Vladimir. But the flash never came out from Fernlander. I don't know why.
He was stuck in there with them. You know, sometimes you just like a good old rumble. You know, you just got to stick in there. You can't run all the time, as Fernlander showed there, doing what he could. But as we do see the overall game here, 10 kills going over to the side of UCM as Flygales decides to go in on the Vlad. Vlad does go into the pool, and he is able to escape. Vladimir's ability to escape is, I mean, on par with anybody in the game. That pull is a deadly move as it does do damage. It heals him and makes him untargetable. So we do see another fight here at top. And throughout these few series that we have seen this, 8-Bit Hypocrite is always aggressive no matter what champ he's on. So he is going into the minions and Malphite there.
And I mean, both characters also have Grasp of the Undying too, so the longer they're in the fight, they're going to be doing max % health every few autos, and they're also going to be getting some health back, making them even more tankier, so these full-out fights do a lot.
How comes the Everfrost from Lissandra? Brilliant Everfrost there from Flygales. Big time hook there from the Thresh. Flygales able to get into his ultimate, and this should be both of them going down. Double kill there for the Pantheon, and Malphite is forced to ult to get away. Fernlander flashing that sigil there.
Master emote, yeah. You know, that's what you gotta do when you gotta flex on the other team. However, I saw a little seedling ball come in, just hit the wall though, so Flygales did not get affected by that. We will have UCM going for the Rift Herald. Lilia, they know that she was bot jungle and now mid, so there's nobody contesting them.
So that is going to be a second Rift Herald going over to the side of UCM. I personally would use it mid, as top tower is almost gone. I'm surprised that bot tower doesn't have much damage on it yet. There's been a lot of fighting in this match, actually.
There has, and I mean, Jin Pantheon don't really take towers too fast, especially against the Jinx, who can just wave clear really easily. So I'm not surprised that bot lane hasn't gotten too far up. They've also been, whenever fights have been going on bot lane, they have been reacting extremely fast and not just staying in their lane and pushing it.
As we do see the mythics beginning to come out, we do see the Gale Force onto the Jhin. That is generally what you do take. One I want to talk about is the Everfrost on the Lissandra. This item I personally think is absolutely broken, but hold that thought as the Lilia flashes into the Maokai ults, puts him to sleep, hits him with the watch out Eep, and Maokai can do nothing here. He's just getting pounded away on, and they are going to be giving that kill over to the Lilia, but that was kind of dangerous. You need to finish off those kills. Don't walk away before you secure the kill.
Especially against somebody such as Maokai, who can easily regain some of his health back and maybe make a cheeky play to get out of there. He did have his ultimate up too, so potentially could have done something with that. But, you know, Spell Thief does get the kill, so no harm done.
Back to what I was saying, but I think this Everfrost item is absolutely broken. It gives AP, as Thresh does land that hook there, but Everfrost gives AP, HP, but the main thing about it is it's active. It shoots out in a cone, and enemies caught within the center of the cone are stunned, and enemies that are caught within or outside of that center part of the cone are slowed. But the thing is that you can hit multiple champions with the snare. So if you get into a team fight and you hit 3 or 4 champions, that is, I believe it's like 1.5 second snare there. And being able to hit or give champions that don't have CC or already have CC, give them more CC is just kind of nutty, I think. And maybe Riot thinks so too, and maybe they'll rework it.
So with this, UCM will be dropping the Rift Herald bot lane. We'll be getting that first tower and most likely getting a second charge on the second tower. I will just want to say really quickly though, UCM just took the third Drake, which is the Mountain Drake. And that was the second Drake that I saw Lilia, the enemy jungler, in the top jungle, like in our top jungle. Drake is up. Hecarim and bot lane have a lot of pressure. What is going on?
As Lilith just gets absolutely deleted from the Summoner's Rift, and down goes Thresh also, and that was just a cluster. Malphite also dropping there. Lilia got, when I say
She died.
deleted,
she gone.
I mean deleted from Summoner's Rift. That was crazy damage, but that is League of Legends in 2021.
I thought that, Jin's, what is it, Bounty Hunter? What is it? I'm forgetting it. The Collector. Sorry. I thought Jin's Collector popped off because if they hit a certain percentage threshold, they just die. But he doesn't even have the Collector. She just died.
Just melted her like butter, as UCM is going to be sieging on this mid turret here. Thresh looking to throw the hook and just misses the Lissandra.
Right now, the only objective that will be up anytime soon is the Baron in 28 seconds. It looks like UCM will be taking the top jungles to make sure that the Spell Thief cannot get any, and potentially getting some wards. And I don't know if they're trying to go for this 20-minute Baron, but they are definitely set up for it.
I don't think they have the damage to go for 20-minute. Jin is one of the slower Baron killers because of his 4 auto attacks, and then he has to reload. So going for that 20-minute would be very dangerous for UCM. But they are in a commanding lead here, and I mean, this is their game to win or their game to lose, deciding on what they want to do here. But hopefully their game to win.
I mean, right now, their main damage dealer is the Vladimir. I assume they're trying to do something with the Malphite ultimate, maybe into the Lily ultimate, but we're just not seeing that right now, and it's because UCM is able to get these picks off. So what should be a 5v5 immediately becomes a 5v4, and that's just harder odds to win against.
I mean, yeah, Vlad is doing his thing. He's trying to scale up. As you do see, he has the ring there, which turns into the help me out here, I forget the name of the book. That has stacks. Yes, Magi's.
Soul Stealer.
He does have, there are 3 stacks on the ring. So, I mean, he's trying to get that going. But like we did say before the match, that the longer the game goes, the better that Spell Thief's comp's going to be with Jinx and Vladimir here. So we're looking for UCM to maybe get a pick and close this out as quickly as possible, as they are looking to siege maybe this mid tower here.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be sending 4 to mid while they're going to be sending the Maokai up alone to top lane, seeing if they can get the tower done.
Oh, man, that was their opportunity. Lilia hit the E onto the Hecarim and decided not to ult. Maokai is up top, so that would have been a 4v5. But nonetheless, Hecarim decides to go in. He is back here on this Jinx. Jinx is able to get away from that. Vladimir very low into his pool, and Malphite is just here fighting all 3 of these UCM players here, and he is going to go down. I'm not quite sure what Spell Thief was doing there, as Thresh is also going to go down. Oh, my goodness, that was just miserable communication.
Now, I was a little bit scared for Fernlander. He used his stun on the Malphite, which, I can kind of understand because during that fight they had the lead in that engage, and Malphite had his ult up, so, trying to stun him for a little bit longer so he couldn't. But they did so much damage to that Vladimir, and he was feared, that they probably could have ended him before maybe switching targets to the Malphite. Either way, UCM still came out on top in that engage, only losing 5 kills.
To be fair, I guess that maybe Spell Thief was thinking, let's not walk into him because that Maokai ult could come out. But with Maokai being top, I mean, once they hit the Hecarim, I would have ulted with Lilia and went in on the 4v5 because, as we've seen, the 5v5s have not been working out. You have to take those opportunities that you're given. But they decided not to pull the trigger there, and, I mean, we see the result.
Well, I mean, Maokai, or Maokai was pushing top lane on the side of UCM, and Malphite was like, I can't let him keep doing that. So he went up top, and in that split second where the team was slightly pushed, that's when Hecarim, IP Slow, went in for that engage.
Malphite may have found himself in a position he didn't want to be in. He does decide to walk out. One thing I will say is that Malphite is a champ that excels also at flanking. So if you get maybe go around through mid and come from behind to hit the ADC or anything like that, that could work too. But he's basically just walking right at UCM. He hasn't tried any of that. And this is gearing up to be a massive team fight here, as they do have to protect this dragon. Malphite is snared up by the Maokai. Down goes the Jink, gets absolutely deleted. He does go in onto the gym, but this is not where he wants to be. Too much damage coming out of these two carries from UCM. Vladimir trying to do what he can. Lilia is able to pick up the kill onto Fernlander, and boom! Down goes that Vladimir right there.
I mean, that was a wonderful engage. Hecarim going into the backline with the ultimate and Fury, he becomes unstoppable, so it's basically guaranteed. And at the exact same time, Fernlander goes in with the Pantheon ultimate, basically allowing them to completely melt Jinx in a split second, completely eradicating her from the fight. At the same time, they split that team with the Malphite. Malphite had to fight Jhin and Lissandra alone, and Malphite's strong, he's sturdy, and he survived a long fight with those two, but he can't take down both of them.
Yeah, that's not happening. He doesn't have the damage. On top of that, he is building tanks. So even if he was, I mean, he just doesn't have the damage there. And also, what I want to say is, this is why you ban Hecarim, man. His ability to get into the back line and delete your carries is just unmatched. That ultimate is nasty. As right when he arrives, everybody's feared and cannot do anything. So we didn't even get to see Jinx use her ultimate in that fight before she was deleted. So she's having a bad game. She's not even at 2 items yet. It's it's looking kind of bleak here.
I mean, even for the Pantheon pick, UCM wise, I've only seen one fear over the games that IP Slow's played, and it was this one. It was just like, and I'm surprised that the fear didn't go off. I think it was more of a glitch in the system because Hecarim's ultimate's kind of weird sometimes. But UCM is just knowing that Hecarim is just a very strong pick, and if they can get him, they'll choose him.
I was doing some research actually on Hecarim, and I did not know this before maybe a couple days ago, but the further that his ult travels, the longer the fear, right? So if you ult somebody that's right on top of you, the fear is going to be less duration than if you get the entirety of your ultimate off. So I did learn that, and maybe that's why I'm like, yo, that fear was like 10 seconds, dude. Like, how long is that?
Does his ultimate go farther the faster he's going?
I do not know. I don't play him enough. I don't believe it does. I do believe it's a fixed distance there.
Gotcha.
Kind of interesting there if anybody didn't know that. But 8-Bit Hypocrite doing what he can up there. He is most likely going to recall. He has no more mana. And, I mean, all that Spell Thief can do is turtle. As they're getting their jungle taken, they're getting everything just taken from him, and they're looking like they have the jungle. But this could be an engage. Is Malphite going to go in with the ult? He decides not to, just uses his Q. Maybe he's going to use it there. He is snared. Hecarim is into the heart of Spell Thief's team. Malphite does get a big ult off on Lissandra and Jhin, but once again, he is left to deal with those two on his own. That is a very nice ult there coming out from Lilia, though. She did hit 3 members of UCM, but UCM is just too far ahead at this point. And one of the issues I see is that Malphite is going in on the carries without the help from his team. So in this situation, maybe he should be peeling more than anything because this Hecarim is all over the Jinx.
And I understand how that's happening to Maokai. It's because Hecarim is timing his ultimate, so he lands right behind the Malphite, so he gets feared one way, the rest of the team gets feared the other way, and at the exact same time, Pantheon comes in for the ultimate. So that's 2 hard engagers in the backline, and Malphite's stuck in a fight by himself. In that situation, though, especially if he has his ultimate up, Malphite should be turning around and going into the Hecarim and Pantheon, helping out the rest of his team so that way they can focus on UCM, but that's not what's happening. Malphite's just, tunneling himself into a fight that he's forced to take.
Yeah, in this situation, I mean, they have good pill with the Thresh and the Lilia ultimate and the Malphite ultimate, but Malphite is just finding himself in the backline with no help. So if I were him, at least, I would be sitting on my Jinx waiting for the Hecarim ult and immediately ulting as Hecarim hits down, because Jinx is I mean, they have Vlad and they have Jinx for their damage. So Jinx is 50% of their damage, and it's just not coming out. Losing 50% of your damage on your team is just, I mean, huge.
After that engage, though, UCM will be taking the Baron buff. We have Lysandra pushing down bot lane, and we have Pantheon, Maokai going to the top jungle. Nope, looks like Pantheon Jhin will be going mid while Maokai is going top. So we're having what looks like to be a 1-3-1 push.
As that does seem to be the case here. Malphite doing what he can down at bottom with these Baron empowered minions. This should, at minimum, be this tower here, maybe. Lilia does have pretty good clear, though, with that Q, as you can see here. Malphite just kind of smacking away at these minions. The Baron empowered minions are pretty strong, if I do say so myself.
Looks like Vladimir went down mid lane to see if maybe he could go in for a cheeky side attack, but gets a little bit too scared, and he has to go back to match up with the Maokai. So yes, I would assume that either mid or top turret will be taken down as Hecarim goes in with the unstoppable ultimate.
As Jinx is pushed back and right into a Fernlander stun, down she goes immediately. Nothing that she can do about that. This could be a dead Hecarim, though. Vladimir ult not able to finish him off. Lilia stun not able to finish him off, and down goes the Fernlander right there, and that was actually a pretty good defense there from Spell Thief. I mean, they're showing a bit of life.
Yeah, Jhin barely survived by the grit of his teeth, was able to flash right before Vladimir got any real damage off, and like we saw, Hecarim was on the very cusp of dying. If he wouldn't have popped Ghost and one of his abilities, he wouldn't have been able to get out of that situation safely.
I mean, it was either deer meat with Lilia or it was horse meat with Hecarim, and neither of them died there. But, I mean, that was actually pretty interesting there from Spell Thief. They were able to stave off UCM. Maybe it was the fact that Hecarim decided to just ult into the tower before they took it when he really didn't need to. They had Baron. With Baron and that empowered cannon minion, they literally could have just stood there and let the cannon peck off at the tower until it was gone and then gone in. But I mean, IP Slow got a bit frisky there, and to say the least, and decided to go in.
And so many minions are pushing it into the base right now that Spell Thief isn't prepared for this Elder Drake that is currently out right now. All of UCM members are pushing towards it, and they will most likely be taking it unless Spell Thief goes in with their full force.
Yeah, if they get this, it's game over. Elder is, I believe at least, the most strong buff in the game. And Lilia goes down, so that will be a Elder being secured by UCM, and they are most likely going to make their final push here to finish off the game. But Elder buff, for those of you that don't know, once a enemy champion, when you have this buff on, once an enemy champion falls, I believe, is a 10% threshold?
That sounds more right, yeah.
Once they fall below a 10% threshold, excuse me, they are immediately executed. So it is a very strong buff there. And UCM is going to look to finish the game off here, and I do expect that to be the case.
And, you know, it's just a strong buff to have overall, but UCM is also up by a lot right now. Basically 13,000 gold lead. So there should be no feasible way that Spell Thief is able to effectively defend it if they want to go in for a fight.
I keep seeing this where, like, I mean, I guess not going in on that is kind of quite smart because they do have Elder, but when you have the advantage in the amount of champions that you have at the team fight at the moment, you have to take those opportunities because 5v5 isn't working. So maybe a 4v5 will work as Lilia is fighting the Hecarim here. Two animals going right at her. I've never seen a horse and a deer fight, but I'm sure that the horse could do some damage here. As Lilia does use her ultimate there on the Hecarim. Hecarim is able to get away before Lilia is able to do anything, and that Lilia goes down once more. Out comes the Maokai ult, not able to hit anybody, but it could hit this Vladimir. Lysandra goes in. She's most likely going to get the ult off on the Vladimir. Vladimir goes golden. Maokai into the center of the team, just tanking massive damage from the Jinx. Jinx trying to do what she can, but at this point it is too far, too little. She only has 2 items, not able to do anything, and that is going to be the first game going over to UCM.
Now, you know, Lilia made the first mistake of that team fight. Once the ultimate got hit, she really wanted to go in on that Hecarim, even if it meant walking into the rest of the 4-man team. And sadly, she just got melted right away. Especially with Elder Drake, you don't want to do that. You don't want to overextend that far, especially when you're in that last pushing phase. And so whenever it became a 5v4, you just go all in on this side of UCM. There's no reason for you to, especially with 2 of the in base turrets down with their inhibitors, it's just an easy win at that point.
I mean, she had to, do what she could. It's better than just sitting there getting destroyed. So she tried to go in. Nonetheless, that was a very uphill battle for them, and they did end up losing on that one. So UCM takes the first game of the series, and we are going to take a short break before we get into the pick and ban phase for the second game. So, guys, we'd love to see you there. Stick around.
Taylor Industries is a proud sponsor of UCM Esports, a family-owned and operated business.
What was your favorite toy when growing up?
Oh Lord. Webkins. I'm gonna have to go with Webkins.
Webkins?
Yeah, dude, I loved my Webkins.
All right. Webkins. All right. So, how would you describe yourself to your friends?
A healthy mix of introverted and extroverted.
Okay. Healthy
Yeah.
mix there?
Yeah.
Okay. What would you do if you were invisible for a day?
Play games. Still, that's what I always do. Yeah.
Play video
I ain't got nothing I would need to do with invisibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing about one of your grandparents?
Just like how like nice they are to be around. It's like I go out and like visit them both a lot, and one set of my grandparents lives a good deal away, so like driving out and just being with them, like just their company.
Hello, and we are hot and heavy into the banning and pick phase here. As you do see the bans there, Hacker Realm, Nocturne, and Ezreal coming out from Spell Thief. So big time ban on that Hacker Realm. And then you see the UCM Esports team banning Victor, Fizz, and Nautilus. So running it back the same as they did last time.
Except for the Hecarim. Spell Thief learned that maybe they shouldn't go against Hecarim and just decide to ban it right away. So unless they've been doing their research, or if UCM picks it during this phase, we will probably be seeing the Dr. Mundo jungle again.
Yeah, I think Mundo is absolutely broken also. If he gets any kind of a lead, he takes it and uses it to the absolute max. You just cannot kill him. And on top of that, Jhin isn't the best ADC versus a Mundo. Mundo needs consistent DPS versus them, such as a Kai'Sa, Vayne, Tristana, things like that. So if they do end up picking that, we shall see. But out comes the Kai'Sa and the Leona pick from the side of UCM.
Spellthief did happen to pick the Jhin this time around, so no Jhin Pantheon plays. I wonder if Spellthief has a wonderful Jhin player, or if they just didn't want VTech to have him. But it will be the Mordekaiser going, I'm assuming, top lane.
Yeah, so you don't see more too often. The big thing about his kit is his ultimate. For those of you that don't know, Mordekaiser's ultimate is very unique in the game of League of Legends. I believe it's called Death Realm. And whoever he targets goes into his death realm, where it's just those two battling it out, mano a mano, for, I believe, 7 or 8 seconds. And if he is able to kill that opponent inside of there, he does gain some of their stats for the remainder of his ultimate. So that's pretty interesting there. And out comes the Alistar from Spellthief.
Also, whenever he does send them into the ultimate, he steals a smaller percentage of their, health, attack speed, and what damage and whatnot during that as well. But we do see the Alistar, so that'll be Jhin, Alistar, bot lane, and we see the Ornn top lane pick. And like I said last week, Ornn is just a solid way to go. Got nothing to worry about top lane.
Yeah, Ornn, he's Ornn. Ornn duty. You can never be mad at the opponent or at your teammates picking Ornn. Ornn is awesome. But we do see the Vladimir come out from the side of UCM. They do not want to deal with that this game, which is interesting because he didn't have too much of an impact last game. So there is the Vladimir pick, and out comes the Lux ban from Spellthief.
I mean, but the deal is that Vladimir is just a dangerous character to have on the enemy team, because if he does get a lot of kills early, or if it does go late game, he can completely 1v5 a team if he really wanted to.
And then we do see a Kayn ban coming out from UCM. I'm not the biggest fan of Kayn. He's very feast or famine. especially in solo queue where everybody seems to be playing on blue Kane rather than red Kane, which I think red Kane is always
That's
the
because it's burst
the
damage
choice to
season
go.
now. It's no longer tank season.
But Kane, nonetheless, Kane pick comes out, and there is the Skarner ban. I'm not quite sure if IP Slow even plays Skarner. I've never seen him play it. But they didn't ban the Mundo, and he actually gets the pick that he's comfortable on anyway. So there is the Mundo. Already UCM looking extremely tanky versus the Spell Thief here.
Yeah, it does not look like if I was looking at this in like a solo duo queue right now, this UCM's team is not a team that I would want to be facing.
Interesting. Out comes the Morgana pick. I'm assuming that is most likely going to be going mid, as we do already have Alistar support.
Jungle Morgana? Dark Harvest Jungle Morgana?
Morgana does not have DPS, and I'm not quite sure how you can see UCM's team here and think, yeah, I'm going to go Morgana here. Oh,
Renekton's. I think it's the Morgana's jungle.
No, it's Morgana.
You never seen a Morgana Dark Harvest jungle?
Not. So
I've seen a couple of that before. Who else would you be saying going jungle? Mordekaiser?
No, I'm fairly certain it is going to be Morgana jungle as I'm looking here, but so it looks like it's going to be Mordekaiser mid, Renekton top, Morgana jungle, but like what a weird composition here. I guess I'm excited to see how it works here. I don't see where they're going to have the damage to chop through Mundo, Ornn, and Leona, but nonetheless we do see that. And out comes an eco pick from Flygill. So interesting composition coming out from Spell Thief. I've never seen it in my life.
I mean, Leona will. If I were to pick a winning team already, UCM, all the way. I really don't see how Spell Thief can really get one out of this unless they play extremely well this time around. UCM though has the Leona ultimate, which will either stun or slow the opponents if they get hit by it. We have the Nico, which if she gets in, she will be stunning the opponents. And then we have Ornn, which is the Ornn horn, and if they get hit by that horn, they're going to be knocked up for a couple seconds. So right now, UCM has a really good team fight engage.
Yeah, they picked very well into the Jhin pick. Jhin doesn't necessarily do very well against tanks, and UCM has 3 tanks.
And especially not a Dr. Mundo.
Yeah. Mundo just out. Literally, by the time Jhin shoots him with the second shot, third shot, fourth shot, Mundo has already recouped that HP. So you're basically just hitting a brick wall there. So I do believe UCM has won the pick ban phase here. As we're just going back through it, as you can see the recap here. But looking on this, Josh, I know you already said that you believe UCM has the better composition. What I want to ask you is what can Spell Thief do to take the win here?
Depends if it's actually the Morgana jungle, because the only other thing I could think about is like Mordekaiser going jungle, just because his passive can proc and he can get the metal field. It's still not a good pick. I don't think so. I've tried doing it before. It's really hard, just toying around. Goodness, Renekton isn't extremely strong late game either. Mordekaiser. It just depends if he can get the kill in the Shadow Realm or not, because that can be a useful tool in taking out a very strong person or just getting, a 5v4 going on. But I mean, I don't mind facing tanks against Jhin, but whenever you have a Leona and an Ornn, that's going to be really tough to kill in the first place. But then you also have the Dr. Mundo. I don't think Jhin has to focus Nico and Kai'Sa to do anything this game, I think.
I don't know how he's going to get past that front line, but yes, he does have to focus those two. One thing I can say is that with the Morgana pick there, Spell Thief can go for picks. I mean, running around with a 3-second snare on Morgana, which usually feels like forever when you get hit by that, is I guess a win condition for them. But also, I mean, if this Mundo gets far ahead, Mordekaiser can ult him to take him out of the fight, and at least hope that his team can do the damage and get some kills before they do come out of the Death Realm. I never thought about that, but that is kind of a small counter to Mundo. Just take him out of the fight. Take him into the Death Realm if that's what you need to do.
And I mean, if Morgana sees him in the jungle, if you land the stun, okay, you can escape, I guess, for a little bit. You'll be fine. But like I said,
it could be Alistar jungle. I've seen it. Alistar jungle is actually not too bad.
I guess that is true. I
We shall
I think
see.
I've seen Morgana more jungle though than Alistar, just because you can go Dark Harvest Morgana. But anyways, once again we will have a 3-minute delay. We cannot watch it right at this moment, so if you will just please stick around, we'll be right into the game as soon as we can.
Culver's is a proud sponsor of UCM Esports. Welcome to Delicious.
College, you don't want a piece of paper. You want an opportunity. The opportunity to lead, to innovate, to transform. The opportunity to excel beyond what you thought possible. At the University of Central Missouri, your goals are achievable because we give you more support so your ambition faces fewer obstacles. Embrace your potential with the backing of 150 years of academic excellence, with undergraduate and graduate degrees available in Warrensburg, Lee Summit, and online. Discover UCM. Discover opportunity in action.
So what is your favorite Disney movie?
Favorite Disney movie?
Yeah.
Okay. I think Lion King. It's a good classic one.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic there. All right, let's go with, what is your go-to snack before a game?
Recently, here it's been Sour Patch Kids.
Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah.
Great choice there.
Oh, yeah.
When you were a kid, what did you wish to be when you grew up?
This is like completely different. Like a scientist, something like that. I just always liked science.
Just like science?
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing now here in college?
Yeah, computer science.
Computer science.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get one more question for you there. What do you like to do on a rainy day?
On a rainy day? I would say play League. but sometimes you do, sometimes you don't like playing League.
Can you let me down? Please don't let me down. Please don't let me. Can you let me down? Can you let me down? Please don't let me down. Please don't let me down. Can you let me down?
And we are back. already on Summoner's Rift, 1 minute in. No shenanigans happening this match. Everybody in their standard positions here. As last match we did see Malphite go down before minions had even spawned. So this match they made sure that that did not happen.
Just so if you're confused at home, UCM is now on the red team, which means they're going to be on the top side of the map. Spellthief will be on the bot side of the map. And, you know, Trey, you were trying to convince me that Alistar was going to be the jungler pick, but guess who's the jungler this time around with Dark Harvest? It's the Morgana. So
Convince is a strong word. I just said it could be Alistar, but it is the Morgana. So I mean, she's not the greatest clearer, but excuse me, as we might have a little level 1 cheeky here. VTech going absolutely ham onto the Jhin. Jhin getting flash on, and that is going to be a dead Jhin. Kaisa isolated Q does so much damage, and First Blood going over to UCM very, very quickly.
that was such a late flash on the side for Jhin. Like, he also has cleanse too. So he could have cleansed that first attack if he really wanted to. But after he got stunned, ignited, and immediately had 3 stacks of plasma from Kaisa, he should just let it go at that point. Because that flash was just really wasted.
Yeah.
I mean, he did get flash for flash, I will admit, but I still think unnecessary.
I mean, he got both of their flashes, so that is exceptional for Morgana. But as I was saying before, Morgana's ganks aren't, necessarily that bad. If she's able to hit her Q, the ganks are amazing. Her issue is her clear speed. She doesn't have the fastest clear speed or anything like that. I very, very rarely have seen Morgana jungle, so I don't know too much about it. But it is all about hitting that Q once you come to lane for ganks.
I mean, the whole reason why she's going Dark Harvest too is because we should be expecting a lot of ganks. If she does land the Q, it should be extremely easy with the help of another player to get a Dark Harvest proc off, which will make her Q damage, which is her stun, to do some massive damage late game. And what I'm also expecting, Trey, is for the Alistar Friends Jai on the side of Spellthief to most likely kind of be like a second jungler in a sense, where he roams around a lot. Alistar's like nefarious for doing that, and I would imagine that he's going to be doing it a lot this game.
Yeah, the roaming supports are the meta at the moment. The Threshes, the Alistars, the champs that can come to the aid of their mid lane or top lane or whatever and just put in some CC. Personally, I think Morgana should be pathing more towards bot, but she's up top at the moment because there are no flashes on Fernlander and VTech. But Fernlander goes in, and that's the power of Alistar. Alistar is actually an amazing counter to Leona because anytime Leona comes in, he just presses Q, and then he presses his W, and Leona's knocked away. So Alistar, at least, is going to have some great pill there, as Flygos does get caught there, and he is forced to burn his flash. He may have been able to make it away without the flash, but just to be safe, he does go ahead and use it.
I mean, you don't want to be the first step on UCM. You know, you got to secure that spot for a little bit longer. But I do believe you're right. I think Flygos probably would have been fine without going for that flash.
As we do see Morgana there, maybe making her way towards bottom. I would personally be in bot because there are no flashes there, so that should be a bit easier. Alistar Jhin, I believe personally, is a kill lane. Once Alistar does get in with his combo, it makes it very easy for Jhin to hit his, I believe it's his W,
Yes.
to snare up even and get even more CC off. So if Morgana decides she wants to make her way down there, if she hits her Q, that is most likely going to be a dead whoever she hits the Q on.
Morgana could not really go down there justified. As a little fight's going on with Ornn and Renekton right now, able to get the Billowing Breath off to do some percentile damage, and Renekton's looking in a tough spot right now.
Which is interesting because Renekton is very strong early game, and he's kind of getting bullied by 8-Bit Hypocrite. Honestly, with the way 8-Bit plays, if I was to see how he played, especially last game, I would have picked something like a Gnar just to punish him because he is very aggressive. But nonetheless, they do pick the Renekton there, and he's probably going to be recalling here 8-Bit.
I mean, the reason why 8-Bit was able to not only do well, but like be on top of that fight is because he has the corrupting potions to keep him, steadily healed on during that battle. Renekton did not, so very clear winner in that short engage.
So the game is at a little bit of a stagnant area here. UCM is up by 1K though. And 8-Bit goes in and gets another big knock up there onto the Renekton. Renekton forced to back off a bit. Mundo is at the Dragon. I'm not quite sure if he is doing that. No, he's just clearing the wards out. So maybe prepping to do that as Morgana is top. If she shows top, that is going to be UCM going to the Dragon. And even without seeing her, they are going to go ahead and take that Dragon. And that should go over to UCM.
Now, if you were doing your research, or even just based off the last game hold-up, we do have a short engage going on right now.
Renekton is forced to use his ult. Forces 8-Bit Hypocrite to flash there if he wants to survive. So a good Q, good gank from the Morgana.
Okay, so as I was saying, if you were to do your research beforehand, or even if you just based off the last game, IP Slow has been trying to get these first streaks within the minute that they appear. Every single time, if he can handle it, he will try and do it. And every single time, I'm seeing the enemy jungler, in the top jungle, not anywhere near the Drake. So it just becomes a free Drake on the side of UCM every single time.
Morgana was looking to gank Flygills. Flygills senses it out and decides to back off a bit. Mundo was also looking to gank bottom, but they are sticking to that tower fairly close. Flygills gets off a bit of damage there onto the Mordekaiser, and Blue Yana, I believe, just flashed also and missed his Qs. So unfortunate there for him, as he has not done what we said he needs to do on the Morgana, which is hit his Qs. He has forced a couple of flashes, but other than that, he has not done what he needs to do.
I'm also very surprised that he's been focusing his efforts more mid and top lane too, and not in the bot lane where you have a Jhin and an Alistar who could definitely help CC for a very long time. Like, yeah, I mean, you can CC the one mid lane and you can possibly get the kill, but Mordekaiser only has a pull to bring him in. Renekton has one stun that he could do. Bot lane just has a lot better of a chance to get the kill.
Jhin and Alistar are playing very far back here in this lane, which is quite interesting because they really don't need to. If Leona decides to go in, Alistar is going to knock her back every single time. But maybe they just don't know where the Mundo is. But Mundo is up top taking the Rift Herald, and Morgana has just based. So that is going to be a Rift Herald going over to UCM clean, free, and easy.
And we might see an engage in bot lane because UCM knows that Morgana just backed away. They have wards in that dry bush. But it looks like, Spell Thief's bot lane is playing extremely passive.
So far here, UCM is up by 1.2k already. Mundo coming into mid, looking to put in the work. This could be a Mordekaiser going down. He does decide to ult to Nico, and as you can see there, they are in the death room. He can still take damage from the tower. He does tower dive, and that's going to be a Mordekaiser going down. I'm not quite sure what he was doing there, but Wookiee Monster dies in his own realm.
I mean, that Flygills has his ultimate up. You know that Flygills' ultimate stuns you. You know that you ulted inside the turret range. What was going on? What was going on in that Mordekaiser's head?
I am not quite sure, but even if he did live and Flygills didn't kill him, you had 3 more members of UCM there to finish off the kill. So that's unfortunate for him. But this does look to be they decide to back off, but that surely is going to be first tower going over to UCM eventually. But looks like Spell Thief is looking to maybe team fight here.
I mean, we're already 10 minutes in, Trey, and UCM is already up 2.5 thousand gold, which is very close to just a full item, and that's a scary lead to have 10 minutes in.
Yeah, UCM is playing exceptionally well, and hopefully they are able to keep it up this match. Alistar may be looking to get off a pick here, but decides to back off. Leona with the nice ward there, able to spot out Morgana in the back.
We do have Drake will be coming up in a minute, so it looks like both teams, junglers and bot lane, will be kind of focusing on maybe seeing if they can get their wards in, clearing out their jungles. But it looks like UCM is actually going to, or at least the Kaisa is going to be backing before this engage.
So both top laners do have their teleports up, so if a fight does break out of Dragon, most likely those will be coming out. The game is at a stagnant pace here. Only 2 kills have been had in the entirety of the match so far. Flygill's getting off some good peck damage onto the Mordekaiser, forcing him to back up a bit. Leona clearing wards out from the jungle also.
I mean, even though like it's not as exciting, I do like it whenever games, only have like the 0-2 kill lead, at 11 minutes, because it does show that players are trying to play smarter around and not just trying to die willy-nilly, especially Spell Thief with their comp that they have right now. It can be very easy for Morgana just to fall off against this Dr. Mundo.
It actually might have been a blessing in disguise that Fernlander did not land that Q, as he would have been into a Jhin and Alistar by himself. Kaisa was at the Tri-Bush, but with that ultimate, she may have been able to get there if she chose to. But Mundo does activate that ultimate, throws a cleaver at the Alistar. He's looking for a burger maybe, as he does lift, and the Alistar has a lot of protein. In comes the Fernlander ultimate, landing onto the Alistar. Fernlander taking big damage, just getting thrown around, able to get out of there. IP slow is very, very low. Down goes IP slow to the Jhin. Renekton coming in doing big damage to the Nico, and out goes Nico. Big time fight coming out from the side of Spell Thief, and boom goes VTech as he is smashed by the Mordekaiser, and surely Fernlander is going to go down. This could be a wipe, a 1 for 5, but no, 8-Bit Hypocrite is able to escape that. And Josh,
I'm trying to figure out where that all went wrong, because it looked like UCM had a pretty decent engage, but then all of a sudden I saw Leona and I saw Dr. Mundo just lose their health extremely fast in that fight, and it didn't help that as soon as they were about to get that Mordekaiser kill, Mordekaiser ulted VTech, and VTech cannot kill Mordekaiser this early in the game. It's just, I think that he just bought his Kraken Slayer. I don't think he had Kraken Slayer before that engage, and he was able to survive the Death Realm for that amount of time, but once he got out, 2 of UCM's members were already gone, and he was very weak, so his death was inevitable.
Couple things here. One, Fernlander went in and just got absolutely tossed around by the Alistar. 2, Renekton had a really, really good teleport to the back line of UCM. He came in and melted Nico with his, I forget the name of the move, but it's his W, his stun. And she immediately went down, but great communication coming out from Spell Thief. They're showing signs of life there, and they are only 500 G down now. So Josh, in that little bit of time, they've gone up about 1.5K there. So that was an excellent fight.
That definitely was an excellent fight, and it was something that Spell Thieves needed, after their loss of last match and, being down 2 kills early on. They really needed this to get their momentum back in this game, and they definitely did. Now, let's see if they can handle or keep that momentum for the rest of the game.
So maybe this team, maybe me and you were incorrect, and this team comp is nasty. As if Morgana can hit a Q here, this may be a kill onto. He decides not to pull the trigger. I'm actually quite surprised he didn't. As Fernlander and Kaisa are making their way down, this could be a kill going over to the side of UCM. Fernlander decides to go in onto the Morgana. Kaisa uses her ult to get into the Morgana, forcing her flash. Mordekaiser ults VTech, and VTech may go down here. He's into the death realm just fighting, and yes, he goes down, and Mordekaiser is maybe going to be able to get Fernlander, but he does not. One thing I will say is VTech is most likely going to have to get a QSS, as it does look like he's already building towards that. Alistar does get the stun on Flygills, but there is no follow-up.
Now, QSS is definitely the way to go, but when was the last time you've seen QSS be built?
Oh, often.
Do you see it, people? Because I, even against Mordekaiser, whenever I go in solo duo queue, I have not been seeing people purchase QSS at all, even though that is the right move to do.
Oh, it's an excellent pick into this composition. The Mordekaiser, Alistar, and the Morgana there do a lot of magic damage there, and they have a lot of CC. So VTech already working towards that, and he's definitely going to need it if he wants to be able to escape from that Mordekaiser.
Definitely seems to be the case. And I was actually, once again, I was a little bit confused in that fight because I thought they were able to get the Morgana, and then all of a sudden I saw Mordekaiser ult, and I'm like, I didn't think Mordekaiser was in that ult range. Well, apparently, as soon as they were attacking Morgana and Mordekaiser literally flashed at the exact same time and basically switched places in that instant. Did a little cross-eyed effect on me.
Another thing that I will say is we did talk about how Renekton is an early game champ, but if he gets kills, he can carry a game. If he gets into your backline and just uses his ult and starts ripping through your carries with that Q, he can carry a game. And he also has the Gore Drinker, which if he gets into the middle of the team fight and activates that, he's going to be healing exorbitant amounts on top of that with his Q. He is 2-0. He's doing very, very well. He has his what are the name of those boots? Excuse me. Not the Tabbies, the
It starts with an M.
but he has his magic resistant boots there that also give him tenacity. So he's on pace here. He's doing pretty good.
And I thought the first tower was going to be mid tower. It was so close to being taken, but it's actually top tier 1 tower on the side of Spell Thieves that gets taken down first. So that bonus gold will be going over to the side of UCM, trying to see if they can get back up to that 1,000 gold lead.
Nico here is going to be able to take this blue, and it looks to be like Dragon is going to be up in about 40 seconds here, so UCM looking to already be doing what they can, and Morgana does get caught out, and surely she is going to go down here as Flygills misses his Q, but Big Yuna still goes down. Wookiee Monster coming in, does get off the Q onto the Nico. Nico forced to run. Nice shots coming out from the Jhin, and if Wookiee would have chased that, he may have been able to ult the Nico and go ahead and take that kill before Dragon comes up.
Definitely could have been a possibility, and I think maybe one that they should have taken since Morgana was taken out, and with this Drake up, now it's going to be a lot easier for UCM to take this Drake. And if that stun from Fernlander would have hit, probably would have been a death on Mordekaiser.
Most likely would have been one. But this is surely going to go over to UCM as they do have their smite. Morgana is walking back from base. I don't believe she's going to make it in time. Fernlander kind of zoning off the Spell Thieves team there. Mordekaiser looking to go in. In comes the Alistar. Big time knockup onto that Nico there. Nico is forced to run, uses her item there to snare him, and is just able to get away there. Dragon's still up. Ornn being knocked up. Down goes Friend Z there, and Renekton just putting in the work here in the middle of the team. That ultimate going off, but he does finally go down, and Josh, UCM is able to get that ace.
So I was laughing a little bit just because during that whole team fight, all I saw was Mordekaiser just trying to walk through all the fighting going on around him to get to VTech. And I thought, oh, he's just trying to get really close to ult VTech out of the way, but his ultimate was actually down. So he was just trying to get the final lasting damage on, and because of that, got maybe a little bit too tunnel visioned and ended up dying probably earlier than he was expecting to.
That team fight is actually way closer than it should have been, considering Morgana was not there at the beginning of it. At the end there, if Renekton would have been able to get off one more Q, he would have at least secured two more kills there. I mean, this composition it's not doing too badly at the moment, actually.
And Alistar did the right play, too, because UCM was expecting them to be coming from the top side of River, and then all of a sudden you saw Alistar coming from the back. I think he did a flash Q, which got the knock-up on, and got 3 of the members of UCM, completely caught off guard, which allowed for that really close battle to happen.
You can see here, Spell Thief is able to go ahead and take that first tower for them at the bottom lane. So that will be some much needed gold injection into their pockets here. And Kai'Sa in the jungle there alone. Alistar looking to make a move here. He does catch her, and there comes the CC from the Jhin. The cleanse coming out from the Kai'Sa, but lo and behold, she still goes down, and she doesn't have cleanse. The QSS, excuse me. QSS coming out from the Kai'Sa, and this is surely going to be a dead Renekton. He turns and tries to fight this. Ornn doing hella damage, but is able to still land that ult onto the Renekton. Renekton still doing what he can, but eventually goes down.
And while Spell Thief will be taking the second tier turret on UCM's side, it looks like UCM will be trying to attempt to take the second tier, but the teleport from Mordekaiser stops their advance. And right now, they have to do something. They might be trying to take their base turret.
UCM is making their way there. Unfortunately, Kai'Sa did get caught, as we did see, and she did go down. So she is 3-3-3. Not even the QSS could save her in that situation. Josh, looking at the game sense, I see that UCM is up by about 4K gold, but I mean the game seems quite close, honestly.
It does seem close. However, what I will say, Dr. Mundo is finally level 12. He also has Turbo Chemtank,
yep,
and the Dead Man's Plate, which means he's going to be not only a very fast boy, but he will be a very healy boy. If he lands a cleaver onto anybody, that's an engage right there. Like, no doubt about it. Nobody's going to be able to escape him.
I hate that item. I think the item's absolutely broken. Turbo Chem Tank, that is. I don't enjoy it, and I hope Riot either removes it or nerfs it into oblivion. But that's just wishful thinking. Although it did receive a nerf last patch, so I mean, trending in the right direction.
We will also be seeing Ornn in just a few levels start to upgrade not only his abilities, but his teammates' abilities as well. So maybe that little boost in the items will give the advantage to UCM.
As that Q just misses Flygills there. And it seems to me, at least, that Spell Thief is waiting until Alistar's ultimate, or excuse me, not his ultimate, his flash is back up, as Morgana's just getting chain CC, decides to go back in. Fernando left with 4 to his own vices and goes down. Renekton just moving through the team fight like a snake and is able to get to the back line, but not able to quite get to VTech, as VTech does do very well in his kiting. Alistar there just tanking damage. Mordekaiser just hitting the minions, just watching his teammates die. He is very low, but nonetheless, he should be helping them out. Alistar knocking back VTech, but still goes down. And in the middle of the fight, Josh, Mordekaiser decided to hit the minions rather than help his teammates out.
I don't know what the plan was there. I do know that a little bit, and it's really hard, and this is where you get with Mordekaiser, because you want to focus the Mordekaiser, you want to get the damage to them, but then all of a sudden he ults somebody, goes into the Death Realm, and it becomes a 1v1. So your focus in the team fight is now gone, and now you need to, focus somebody else. But now that the fight's already in progress, you start getting really split focus, especially when he comes back, and he has the empowered abilities. So it's always a jumbled mess on what UCM should be targeting at that moment.
Yeah, and from what I have gathered from these 2 games that we're watching, at least Spell Thief's top lane loves to get into the back line of the enemy, but when he does that, he's left to his own vices, right? He doesn't have the help or the follow-up on that, and he just ends up dying. We saw that last match, and we just saw it last team fight also. And the way to cure that is, instead of engaging into the back line, you pill for your teammates so that you are as one unit. And this dragon's going down very quick. Alistar does come in, knocks back. The Mundo and blue team is able to steal that. Spell Thief able to take that Earth Dragon there. Flygill's very low. He should surely go down. Boom goes Flygills, and 8-Bit Hypocrite forced to flash away, and Alistar makes a mistake, knocking IP Slow over the wall there. Neon reparts there, trying to get away from that enemy there. Blue Yuna getting very, very low, still going in, and this is what I'm talking about. Renekton is just absolutely wreaking havoc in the back lane, taking out VTech, and is looking to take out IP Slow. There's no tower for IP Slow to run to, so Renekton should be able to do that. And a big-time hit coming out from 8-Bit Hypocrite. That was a lot of damage. I did not expect that. This should be at least a stun, and 8-Bit Hypocrite is able to make it away.
Once again, I'm so baffled on the fight with the Mordekaiser. He was able to. Who did he ult?
I was not watching. I was too worried about the clutch steal there from Blue Yuna.
Blue Yuna definitely did make a wonderful play there. We did see the big damage coming in from the Ornn, though, and I don't know if he had Grasp of the Undying proc up, but he definitely had his whenever he does his Flame Breath attack.
Bellows Breath.
Yeah, Bellows Breath. He had the indicator on that his next auto was going to be empowered for that 4% maximum health, I believe. So that's where that huge damage came in to kill that Mordekaiser. Or not Mordekaiser, sorry, Renekton.
Yeah, Renekton. He was wreaking havoc in the back, though. He's getting onto VTech and just doing damage. And the thing is, QSS can get rid of 1 CC.
I know who Mordekaiser ulted now. It was the Leona, because I thought Leona was able to get the kill on Jhin, who was extremely low on health. We saw the Q come in from the Leona, but as soon as the animation was going to appear on the Jhin, Mordekaiser ulted and wasn't able to get it off. So Jhin barely survived that fight.
And there goes the Turbo Chem Tank wasted from Mundo, so not able to do anything with that one. But Spell Thief showing signs of life with this oddball comp here. This is actually putting in quite a bit of work. So very close game. The goal does not look that way, but it is closer than it seems.
And I'm still very surprised, and I think I wasn't expecting the jungle Morgana to be doing as much damage, but maybe that's because you're used to so many support Morganas. As the Ornhorn comes in.
Oh, and Jin with the Gale Force able to get away from the Leono and the Ornn ult. In goes the 2 tanks from the side of Spell Thief. Nico able to ult the Alistar. Doesn't do much damage, and down goes Ornn as he's in the back line fighting with Jin and Renekton, and he is finally taken out, but this is surely going to be a dead Jin as he cannot fight those two. Too much damage, and Mordekaiser not able to finish off Flygales in the Death Realm and is going to be chased down by this Mundo. This is where he excels, throwing cleavers, chasing you down, doing damage, and in comes Alistar, not able to save his teammate though, not able to kill the Kaisa, and that is going to be a clean ace for the side of UCM.
Yeah, UCM was focusing on that Alistar for the good portion of the fight, and they were realizing that, man, we can't kill the Alistar, so they switched there, and you know, Ornn's probably yelling, guys, I need help, I got people. I mean, as soon as they split that focus onto the Jin and onto the Renekton, you know, that's whenever it became very apparent that UCM was going to get out of there alive.
One thing I will say is I have not seen too many good ultimates coming out from the Morgana. I'm not sure if she's just more of trying to pill for the Jin rather than maybe flashing in and making sure she gets an ult off on Nico and the Kaisa. But in that fight, I feel like the flash ult onto Nico and Kaisa could have changed it because they were focusing the Alistar, like you said, and Alistar in his ultimate is extremely hard to kill, something like 75% damage reduction there, so it's useless to hit him. And I'm anxious to see if this Morgana takes more of a aggressive approach with her ultimate.
And right now, even though Baron is up, both teams are most likely eyeing the Drake more importantly because it will be a Mountain Drake for Soul. And both teams could greatly use the Mountain Drake Soul. I mean, we have 3 very tanky people on the side of UCM, and we have Alistar and Mordekaiser and Renekton that could easily use that bonus defense.
That is very dangerous. Jin is standing right on that little spire there from the Ornn, but they do decide to back off. One thing I will say, though, is that if UCM gets the Urso, I do believe it's going to be over. They are very tanky, and Spell Thief already has trouble cutting through the tankiness. On top of the shield from the Urso will be just unbearable. So here we go for another dragon fight, it looks like.
These Drake fights have been very, you know, unpredictable, though. But it looks like UCM is melting it right away.
As Red Team is able to secure that one, not much the Spell Thief can do there. They were at the back of the Dragon Pit, and the Renekton was not there. So smart from them not to go ahead and engage on that, because that probably would have been the game over if those 4 did die.
And the main reason why UCM didn't get the last Mountain Drake 2 was because IP Slow just didn't have his smite up, but they were in the middle of a team fight, so they had to keep on going for it, which allowed, you know, iBlue Yuma to get an easy steal on that.
Yeah, Alistar also came in on that fight at least and knocked the Mordekaiser, the Mundo back from the Dragon. So even if he did have smite up, Blue Yuna was in range for that. And UCM looks to be, as Flygales decides, hey, I'm going to start this. Fernlander, excuse me, is going in on the Morgana, and yeah, he was doing this thing on his own there as Morgana was able to snare him. And this is going to be a big 5v5 team fight. The teleport is coming out from the Mordekaiser. IP slow does get very low. Renekton activating that ultimate in the middle of the fight. Nico doing what she can, is in the death realm and getting pounded away at by the Mordekaiser. Big time knockup from the Alistar, is able to get 3 of those. Mordekaiser not able to finish off Flygales in the death realm, but he surely is able to finish off Fernlander. And Mordekaiser doing what he can, but goes down. Baron is just putting in so much damage, doing damage to both teams, doing what he can. Renekton coming back in, hoping to get the Nico, in a miscommunication from the side of Spell Thieves as he does knock Flygales through the wall away from the Renekton, and that is so unfortunate. I am sure that they are kicking themselves in the butt with that one. That was just bad communication, and this is surely going to be a dead Alistar as Mundo excels in this situation.
Now, I don't know who's going to be getting Clover's player of the game, but I can tell you who's not going to be getting it on the side of, you know, Spell Thief. Definitely not that Alistar. So many misplays from him, allowing UCM to get away with probably 3 lives this game.
And in the meantime, Orm's just pounding away at the base of Spell Thieves. Almost takes the second inhibitor, or not inhibitor tower, excuse me, the second Nexus tower there. And I thought the game was actually going to end there as Ava Hypocrite was doing what he can to finish it off.
Now, the only objective up right now is the Baron, and they could potentially, UCM could potentially do that again, as they have already taken the mid turret and inhibitor on the side of Spell Thieves, which is allowing super minions to eventually start pushing in there. They do have a lot of wards on the top side of the map, while Spell Thief does not, so they definitely are set up for the Baron. As we can see in the chat, the enemy team's Gen is like, I think they might be at Baron, because they just have no vision right now.
Oh man, this one is going on, and UCM is in a commanding position here. They have no reason to really force anything. I do believe that the longer the game goes on, the better chance UCM has to win, so there's no reason to force anything here. They most likely will be taking this Baron and going ahead and going to a 1-3-1 most likely, to try to finish the game off. The inhibitor, excuse me, I keep saying that. The Nexus Tower that is left is very, very low, but I do believe Nexus Towers recoup HP, if I remember correctly.
Nexus Towers?
Yes.
Yes, they do get HP back eventually, but the turrets don't. And once you have an open Nexus, especially without anything else being taken on the UCM side, it becomes a pretty clear indicator on who's going to win.
Zalistar got a bit of a knock-up there, a little cheeky knock-up onto the Mundo. They cannot pull the trigger as Mundo is extremely tanky, so UCM decides to back off here. I'm surprised they haven't pulled the trigger on trying this Baron yet.
I am very surprised too, but it looks like they might have heard us, but nope, it looks like Kai'Sa is actually going to be going bot side with the Ornn.
Alrighty then, they got a 1-2-2 going on here. Both of these combos here, the Nico and the Leona, and then the Ornn Kai'Sa do a lot of damage and have quite a bit of CC there, so those are two good combinations to have going in. And if I was Spell Thief, I would be looking for an engage here, and that's exactly what they're doing, as he does hit the snare onto the Leona, and there comes the Gen snare also, but they have no follow-up. That is so unfortunate. But Mordekaiser does take Fern into the death room, and Fern is fighting for his life out here, and down goes Fernlander, and that is a big pick there from the side of Spell Thief.
Right now, it looks like Dr. Mundo will be heading back to base right before, because Mountain Drake is up in 20 seconds. It's going to be very close for IP Slow to get back there in time.
Luckily, they have priority on the Dragon, so I do believe he's going to be able to make it back. But generally, you want to return a bit quicker than what he did there. But they did get a very nice pick there. Fernlander in there fighting for his life, but in the end, Leona's never going to be able to take out a Mordekaiser 1v1.
Yeah, and if UCM can get this Mountain Drake, as IP Slow jumps over the wall.
As Mundo jumped over the wall, activated Turbo Chem Tank, activated his ultimate, was not able to get to the Gen though. Renekton in the back onto VTech. VTech preemptively pops his QSS, but he did not get any use out of that. Renekton doing what he can, but there goes the Kraken Slayer proc from Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa coming back around the wall, looking to do a damage. Wookie with a 3-man pull in there. The damage is coming out. Blue Yuna with the auto attacks, doing what she can there. Not able to take out VTech. VTech in the back just putting in damage. They cannot get to VTech. This is the issue here. Alistar is able to get there. Can they get one auto on him? Alistar able to proc off his, his keystone there and finish off the VTech there, and that is a team fight win for the side of Spell Thieves.
I was going to say, IP Slow was doing a wonderful job making sure that VTech stayed alive. The Renekton tried to hop into that fight, and IP Slow could have gone in for that team fight, but he turned around, made sure that VTech stayed alive, and it looked like it was going to be fine. However, Frigid, the Alistar, was able to get and finally hit that last attack on VTech. I thought VTech was going to survive that attack. I really did.
If he did, I believe they would have won the team fight. But he does go down, and then Spell Thieves is able to take that team fight. That was an amazing team fight, especially considering that Renekton went down. I mean, not super early, but not super late into the team fight there. And Spell Thieves is showing signs of life. This is a very back and forth. They are down by 5K, but it does not feel like that. It's been the entirety of this game where they have been down, but they've been holding their own.
And I mean, it's honestly like, the 5K lead is one thing, but it is becoming a very scary match. 6 Drakes are out on the field right now. This next one will be a guaranteed soul, and I believe it's whoever gets this will most likely be winning this match.
Hold that thought, Josh, as we do have another team fight. Alistar Olds is able to take up a bunch of damage, trying to get onto VTech. VTech, here comes the Renekton from behind, able to knock VTech around. Can they finish off the kill? And they do get that kill. Holy cow. Down goes Fernlander. Also, Morgana, blue unit coming in with the double kill. Ornn forced the flash, and Spell Thieves putting in absolute work. I do not know if the Renekton teleported in there, but he comes from the back and absolutely slices and dices VTech.
Renekton did not teleport in there, and they will most likely be taking this Baron buff right now. VTech and Fernlander were the ones that ended up dying. Flygills was nowhere to be seen in that fight, and, 8-Bit Hypocrite, sadly, he misses Ornhorn. He didn't hit anybody with it. I think Kaisa could have survived a little bit longer, but it just, he whiffed the shot.
My goodness, Josh. Spell Thieves is absolutely lifting on UCM. They are putting in work in these last few team fights, and from what I'm seeing here, I know for a fact, because I played Nico, that Nico does fall off the later the game gets, and she is not having the impact that I'm sure he wants to have in this fight. These team fights aren't going well for UCM. They may have to start looking for picks rather than team fighting, because the last two have went absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, and we were kind of making fun of, Spell Thieves' team composition, and I still don't think it should work, to be quite honest, but something's working.
Blue Yuna actually picked up a double kill there. One thing about Morgana is she has very, very long cooldowns, so once you use all your spells, all you can do is auto, and she was just throwing those autos around and somehow picked up a double kill. But Spell Thieves here just putting in this work, and I want to say that this Alistar is absolutely going berserk on the side of Spell Thieves. Like, he is getting into the back lane on top of the Morgana black shield, so they can't damage him when they can't CC him. All he's doing is just wreaking havoc. I'm not sure what UCM can do about this Alistar.
I mean, would you say that maybe they should be getting healing reduction? Because as of right now, the only person who has healing reduction on the side of UCM is the Ornn. And I guess Leona has Bramble Vest right now.
I mean, Morgana does heal. Renekton heals quite a bit. And Alistar heals also. So, I would have, because personally, you're not going to be hitting Ornn that much with autos anyway to get the Grievous Wounds onto those champions. But, hey, it is what it is. UCM has decided not to pick it up so far. So, we'll see how it goes here. But, do you think it would make much of a difference in these team fights?
I don't know, but they can't melt down anybody right now. And I also...
As Morgana does hit the snare, they decide not to pull the trigger on Fern, but that was a mistake as they only have 3 players there. They could have engaged into a 3v5 and won that fight. I'm not sure.
Spell Thief didn't have any wards, though, so they had no idea what was on the other side.
They knew Mundo was bottom as he was killing minions. They did not know where Ornn was. But that was unfortunate as Mundo decides to walk in. He's getting lifted. Jin coming out. Is he going to be able to do it? Mordekaiser coming in from behind, and surely IP Slow is going to die in there. Fernlander taking big damage. Renekton is able to get to him, snares him up. Q slices and dices. IP Slow forced the flash over the wall. Snare coming in onto the Nico. They are going to be chasing this. Blue Yuna looking to do what she can and decides to back off. UCM is absolutely falling apart at the seams.
Now this Drake is coming up in 13 seconds. IP Slow might have to do a Hail Mary play and try to see if he can get the soul.
And this will be a 4v5 fight here as one member, Fernlander, is down. Morgana hitting snares again. She is just putting in the work. The snare combo with the Jin snare is just like 4 or 5 seconds of pure CC. You cannot do anything. You have to stand there and take that damage. And this is going to be Urso going over to the side of Spell Thieves. And Josh, we made fun of this comp, but it is absolutely going off.
I don't like it at all. I still don't feel like it should work. But I will admit, and I will say this, 2 things. One, every time I have seen a Morgana jungle, they do ridiculous amounts of damage.
As they are going to be sieging this tower, and that Alistar looks so menacing. He is massive. I don't know what you can do against him right now. He's healing his team, CCing, tanking damage. In comes the Ornhorn. They decide to go in on this. They do hit the Morgana. They do hit the stun onto the Alistar. Alistar, Morgana knocked up, doing massive damage. Renekton in the back line again onto VTech. Flash is not able to finish that off. Flygills looks to be going down. Does not. Goes golden. Knock up from Alistar big time. He is able to get away. Wookie with the double kill. kill. There goes Ornn. He's surely going to burn down. No, he makes it away. Neo over here fighting Kaisa, and Kaisa is able to execute him. IP slow tanking what he can, but this Alistar is menacing. He may be able to get the knock up, at minimum the stun. He knocks him away to save his own skin and still goes down, and that is a 2 for 3, Josh.
I think definitely Spelty could have played that a little bit better. Renekton getting a little bit too cocky on VTech. I mean, he's doing the right thing, making sure that VTech can't get in, but Dr. Mundo, or IP Slow, is doing a wonderful job, once again, of kiting VTech, and if it wasn't for that kite, UCM would have been wiped out.
I am going to say that this match in particular, different from last, the Renekton getting into the backline is amazing in this match, because him being the one to keep VTech from just getting off these Kraken procs and her passive procs is keeping the damage low on his teammates. So I will say he is doing the correct thing this match, because there is so much pill for Jhin. Jhin has the Alistar pilling form, which is top tier pill. He has the Morgana pilling form, which is top tier pill. So the Renekton being in the backline is amazing this match, and this is a banger going on, Josh.
Yeah, and I do have to commend VTech in his ability to stay calm in that situation, because with all that fight going on, I would have figured that he would be trying to throw out auto after auto after auto, but whenever Renekton came out, instead of just like going for that, he waited until he was able to get the auto off of Jhin, catch him off guard, ult into him, and annihilate the Jhin before he could wreak even more havoc. So I commend VTech for his, what is it? Forgetting the word for it. But, being able to stay calm in that sort of situation.
Composure,
there we go.
As I'm looking here, I'm looking at the summoner spells for each team. Spell Thieves has one flash on the Morgana, and UCM has no flashes, but Flygill's flash is coming up soon. So this next team fight is going to be, for all intents and purposes, flashless. And there goes the snare from Flygill's, and the Leono coming out. Baron doing what he can, doing damage to both teams. This is a massive team fight. I'm not quite sure that Spell Thieves really wanted this team fight. In goes Neo Raptors. They might just have to cut their losses and run, and this is surely going to be a dead Jhin. That is a very, very big coordinated CC from the side of UCM.
Trey, I was just about to say, when was the last time you've seen a match go on for 43 minutes? But that team fight right there basically calls the match, I believe. They're going to be...
I'm not sure.
They're going to have this Baron buff. Okay, you're right. It will be going on a little bit longer, because Spell Thieves minions are pretty far up in each lane. So we'll be going on for a little bit longer. But, they do have the Baron buff right now, and they have one inhibitor mid lane and basically half a turret protecting their nexus. If they get this push in, this will be the game for UCM. However, Elder Drake will be up in 2 minutes, so if Spell Thieves can hold off for those 2 minutes and maybe get that Elder Drake buff, it could be a turnaround.
Yeah, this one is far from over, actually. They had no means to push, and their damage dealers were dead. Specifically, the Kaisa, she's the one that really does the damage to buildings there. Objectives, so they weren't able to end it there, but they do have this Baron. Maybe they're going to get together this 5v5 push and go ahead for that that ending, because they got a gift handed to them, being able to catch out those two opponents with the Leona and the Nico snare. So they might not get that again, and they may want to go ahead and end it while they can.
That seems to be the case. We do have Leona sparking up wards in the bot jungle, getting ready for maybe Ornn pushing in this bot lane and for this possible Drake, but it looks like Spell Thief, going in, clearing any of the wards that she just put down.
So we do see the Renekton top, we do see the Ornn bottom. Spell Thieves are making their way towards bottom. Renekton does have his teleport up, so he can teleport in if it comes to it for this Drake here, which whoever gets this, I believe, is going to go ahead and end the match.
It's going to have Elder Drake, and these fights have been so close that, I can't imagine Elder Drake just letting somebody win completely.
So, so they're going to have this Elder Drake fight here, and I do think this is most likely going to be gained. And it looks like Spell Thieves might just be giving it up. They do move back to their base. They're most likely going to go ahead and clear these mid minions, but I believe they have to fight for this Elder Drake, as I do think it'll be a win condition for UCM. I think the game will be over.
Both teams not wanting to literally push up at all. They are waiting in their bushes, waiting for this Drake to spawn, because like you said, this will probably spark the winner for the game.
So here we go. We are posturing up, guys. This is going to be a massive fight. Look how big the Alistar is. Just putting in work, walking towards like a juggernaut. You can't milk those. Knock up onto the Renekton. Renekton able to get away. Snare onto the Mundo. Fernlander whips his ultimate, and this is not going well for UCM. Renekton into the backline again on VTech. Reminiscent of other fights. Can he get off the queue? Fernlander goes down to Blue Yuna. Blue Yuna doing what he can, and surely Flygills is going to go down to this Mordekaiser. And Josh, I don't know, man. That could be the game over. Ornn does get snared by the Jhin, snared by the Morgana. You cannot even play the game. You will be CC'd. And Mundo coming back in to do what he can, but I'm not sure he put himself in a position to be successful. Big time snare there from Morgana and the Jhin, knocking him around. And again, Alistar knocking him through the wall. And Josh, this is going to be an Elder going over to the side of Spell Thieves.
Elder will be going on to the side of Spell Thief. Kaisa was able to survive. Fernlander has 14 seconds till he's up. The rest of the teammates have over plus 25 seconds. I think there's going to be one more fight in the base of UCM, and if UCM does not play it right, that's it. With Elder Drake too, that's going to be a tough defense.
Josh, I'm face palming right now because this composition is absolutely going nuts. This is like a solo queue composition, and they are making it work. They are sieging this base, and there's nothing that UCM can do about it. This Elder Drake buff, is the strongest buff in the game. If you fall below 10% HP, you will be executed, as Flygill's doing what he can, but they are so tanky. They're just sieging. Down goes that tower extremely quick. Ornhorn coming out, gets a double knock up. Big time knockup from the Alistar, and UCM is able to hold him off. Blue Yuna running for his life. He's going to have to go through that tower. Did he just get a kill?
VTech is okay. He had Guardian's Angel up and running, man. So technically he did die, but he revived with half his health.
I'm looking, and I'm like, the Elder Drake buff just from basically across the map. Who did he get? But VTech does lose his Guardian Angel, and that's actually pretty big that he did lose that. He will not have that up for the next team fight, and UCM is able to hold that off. And the issue there is that Spell Thieves did not have many minions to help siege those towers there, so they were just trying to brute force their way through them.
Yeah, and they got a little bit too overzealous. They thought they had the Elder Drake, and they've been winning. They also have the Mountain Drake, Soul, to buff them, and so they were probably just feeling a little bit overconfident going into that fight. 3 members of Spell Thief still have the Elder Drake, but it will be running out in just probably a few more moments. So the next objective will be the Baron.
UCM is pushing. They're kind of spiraling a bit. They know they have to end this. Both teams nexus are pretty much exposed. They have one tower on both nexuses. This is a 48-minute banger here, guys. Stand up. This game is going absolutely ham. I love to see it. I love these back and forth matches here, and this one is definitely one of those. This could go either way, as you do see like this death ball just pushing from the side of Spell Thieves, and UCM is down at bot. They're gonna have to recall here. They are Ornn just recalled, so they could go ahead and just push this here. They're trying to push through.
Elder Drake is still up. You can see it on the Jhin currently, but I think they only have a few seconds left on that. So they're trying to make there it goes. It disappears right at that moment. No more Elder Drake on the side of Spell Thief.
Guys, and this is going to be the last fight, I do believe. They do go in. This is just a death ball. You cannot see what is going on here. Ultimates, knockups going from everywhere. VTech is able to take out the Alistar. The Nexus is exposed. Down goes that last turret, but Spell Thieves have barely any more HP on any of their players. Oh my gosh, so much damage coming out from the Mordekaiser. Flygill's doing what he can. Renekton doing what he can. This is amazing there. Renekton gets knocked up. Ornn and Nico are the last ones left. Jhin is fighting the Mundo. He has Mundo running from him. What can he do? Wookiee Monster doing what he can. Flygill's forced back into the tower. Mundo coming back, throwing a cleaver. He is very low. Jhin decides to run out of the base. And guys, this game is still going to be going on. It is now hit 50 minutes and Wookiee Monster is going to go down. Holy cow.
Okay, Jhin is the only one up on Spell Thief right now, and the closest one being able to revive in 20 seconds is the Alistar, but most of the members of UCM were either extremely damaged or dead at that moment, so UCM cannot go off of anything. Right now, Baron is up, so I could imagine that they might try to go for that, but, they don't have VTech up for another 20 seconds, so Baron's really off the table as well.
Guys, I am just laughing and I am ecstatic right now because this game is absolutely crazy. UCM's Nexus is exposed right now. That fight was absolutely crazy, and it looks to be gearing up both teams for a Baron fight here. As you do see, the Renekton still has 8 seconds, and Wookie Monster still has 26 seconds. I'm not quite sure what UCM is doing. Yes, go for the Baron if you really need to. 20 seconds on Wookie. I'm not quite sure if Spell Thieves can contest this.
I mean, UCM has to take it fast, too, because the Mordekaiser will have that teleport. But look at that Baron. I mean, everybody's basically level 18 except for the support right now. So that Baron should be melting down. I mean, VTech isn't even there right at this moment. And it looks like Spellthief is actually giving it up.
Whoa, Spellthief is actually going to just push. They're going to push right through. The teleport coming out from the side of Ornn. Ornn's going to teleport into mid lane, and he could go down. He does not. If they could have caught that Ornn, that would have been massive.
I was about to say, that did not look like the play to move, and now that teleport is wasted as well. We will have Elder Drake coming back up in a minute, but we have UCM with the Baron buff. I wonder if they're going to try to push this up or if they're going to get postured up for Elder Drake.
Spell Thieves is not letting up. Even with UCM having the Baron buff, they are pushing. They do not care. This is a death ball comp, and honestly, Josh, if they can make it to the Nexus, they may just be able to meatball their way into destroying it.
That is very true, especially with Jhin. If they're not targeting Jhin, Jhin could probably end that
Ornn
Nexus.
does hit the Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser going golden. Alistar with a massive 5-man knockup. What can he do? That is crazy. Fernlander going back, trying to help Alistar force the flash out. Morgana with the 5-man ultimate, forcing everybody out. UCM is falling apart. They are crumbling. Renekton doing what he can. The Gator in the back line does finally go down. IP Slow just pecking away. Alistar getting knocked through the wall. Jhin stunned by the Ornn. Ornn taking massive damage. Another knockup from the Alistar. Blue Yuna finally goes down. Wookie Monster is doing so much damage. And Josh, UCM is falling apart at the seams. That is a 3-for-3. 2 members left on each side. Can UCM hold? Can VTech and FlyGills hold this off?
Right now, it looks like, Jhin does have Guardian's Angel, and Mordekaiser does not have his ultimate right now, so they will most likely be able to defend this. It is too risky for Spell Thief to do, because if UCM were to win that, they could probably end the match right then and there. Vice versa, either way. Elder Drake is currently up right now, so Spell Thief will be moving down there, and I think UCM kind of knows that that might be the option right now. They do have a ward, so they will be seeing Mordekaiser slamming this Drake.
Oh, man, this Elder, I've said this before, but I really do think this may be the end. Can VTech make the hero play? If he dies, this game will be over. If he takes this, the game may be able to last even longer. But Josh, that last team fight, Alistar with a massive 5-man knockup, that was crazy. VTech doing what he can. He's trying to make the hero play. He's able to dodge that, doing crazy damage to the Mordekaiser. Jhin is stunned there, taking a lot of damage. Jhin trying to do what he can. He does go down. He has Guardian Angel, though. Dragon is at 3k HP. FlyGills going in. Fernlander showing up, and that is most likely going to be Elder going over to UCM. And Josh, that could be the game going over also, but only 3 members have it.
Only 3 members have it, and right now, their mid lane is their only real pushing comp right now, and they have super minions basically at their base right now, so it's going to take a little bit for them to push up. However, they have a very tanky comp, so they probably could just go in there either way. It looks like Nico will be going back, though. VTech Verlander will be staying at this front line, waiting for the rest of the team. That stun almost hit Verlander. That would have been kind of scary.
43 seconds and 41 seconds is a very, very long time. Spell Thieves is going to try to hold on, but this could be the death ball push that UCM needs. Nico is still very far behind. You don't like to see that. They are at minimum going to be able to take this inhibitor. And Josh, 54 minutes. This is the absolute longest game we've seen of this tournament so far from UCM. 8-Bit Hypocrite with the knockup onto Renekton. Alistar with another nasty knockup onto VTech. VTech getting smited down. VTech just may go down here. No, out comes the Elder buff from VTech, and that is going to be game going over to UCM. An absolute banger of a match there, Josh.
I have personally not seen a 54-minute match since last season. I've never been a part of a 54-minute match since last season.
Man, that match just was a back and forth battle. I commend both teams for that one. That was absolutely amazing, and both teams absolutely left it all out there on the Summoner's Rift.
That does seem to be the case, but we'll talk more about that in our post-game show, so stick around. We'll be right back in just a few short minutes.
Taylor Industries is a proud sponsor of UCM Esports, a family-owned and operated business.
The Office or Parks and Rec?
My girlfriend just actually got me into The Office, so I'm gonna say The Office.
Man, but you've already seen Parks and Rec.
No.
Okay, well, that explains it. Doesn't you be like, man, I want to nerf this.
Probably Aatrox.
He's quite a few nerfs.
Yeah,
All right.
they need to keep coming.
Yeah. What is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
For League or?
Just in general or league? Best piece of advice?
Well, I'm a very anxious person, so when a very close friend of mine just told me, like, hey, if you're, like, having anxiety, like, getting up in front of people, like, to talk or something like that, just know that no one really cares.
Hello and welcome to the UCM Esports post game. And Josh, we had an absolute banger of a match there.
I mean, what can I say? That was a 54-minute match. There's a lot I could say in that one. I'm pretty sure that we said this is probably the last fight 17 times. Both teams played extremely well, making sure that they played smart and safely. There's a couple of misplays from both sides, which can happen in any sort of match. But, when they go that long in a match and we see like 3 different Elder Drakes, I mean, both teams just have to be playing at their peak.
Man, the meatball composition coming out from the side of Spell Thieves. I did not think the comp was going to work in the beginning.
I didn't think so either.
They somehow made it work, and they put up an absolute fight. I honestly thought they were going to win on their last push when the Alistar had a 5-man knockup, and then it ended up being 2 versus 2 with Flygills and VTech left alive versus, I believe, Mordekaiser, and I can't quite remember who the other one was. But that did result in the Elder fight, and VTech comes in, and with that being said, this is the reason VTech earns player of the game with that very, very last Elder fight there. He came in, he dodged a couple ultimates, did what he could, and staved off Spell Thieves from taking that Elder.
Yeah, I mean, Spell Thief, we had Mordekaiser and Jin down there, and it was VTech and Flygills, I believe. And Flygills wasn't there yet. VTech was there just by himself. Now, Mordekaiser and Jin were taking a lot more damage because they had a lot of Drakes, and once you have a lot of Drakes, the Dragon does percentage more damage to you. But, VTech had to dodge, the pull from Mordekaiser, had to dodged the stun from Jin. Jin literally did one auto and almost took half of VTech's health off. But he was able to survive and not only kill the Mordekaiser, but help secure the Elder Drake for UCM, which helped that final push.
And I mean, all game he was just accosted by that Renekton. Renekton was constantly in his face, and he still ended up 24-8 there. So VTech doing what he could, put out the damage, making sure this Renekton, or at least trying to orb walk and kite this Renekton, all while making sure that his team could secure the very, very last Elder there. So VTech definitely deserves that. But that's not to say that everybody on UCM and everybody on Spell Thieves didn't play well. That was an absolute amazing match, and I'm actually honored to cast that one. I enjoyed it.
I mean, and like I said, a lot of people did great things, and, we talk about VTech surviving and he tried his best to kite, but if it wasn't for the help of his other teammates kiting for him, he would have died in a lot more fights. So it was this was definitely a team effort match.
Very, very true. And hopefully we see next week that they can go ahead and make it 4-0. But with that being said, guys, we are going to go ahead and end the stream there. We hope to see you next time. We hope to have more bangers like that one. So come around next time.
I'm going